All right, now we are at the stage where we create the third procedure, the display data list procedure. Let me show you in MIT App Inventor the difference. When we click the Show Data button, the first procedure, the display sum, showed you in this label here what the number of flu cases entered were, the total number. This one shows you the average number per month, again, in this text label area right here. The display list shows in this black bar area right here. It is going to be a scrolling list that will show you each month you entered and the number of flu patients you entered for that month. So this procedure is going to show the display in a different spot in the view layer. So here is my display data list procedure handler, and I am going to go now back to the text, and this is the flow chart for it, and I'm just going to spend a very short amount of our video time here. So we're starting, that is, the program is starting at the beginning of the data lists, and it's asking, are there any more entries? And if there are, it's going to join them together, the amount and the month. So this spot in the code is where the month and the amount are joined, and then it's going to add the results to a new list, the data list view. And once that's done for every entry, then it's going to show the results in that little black bar area we looked at the bottom of our app screen. We're now going to skip down to step 32, and this is where it tells us how to do the code blocks. So it showed us in that example we have to create a new variable because we're going to create a new empty list. And so this was display list. And as we've learned, we're going to pull out an empty list and put it in there. So now I have a variable for my new list. These two tables in the instructions just show you what is happening in that program, in the control layer of the app. We are picking a month from the spinner, and we are entering a number of flu cases. And when you combine the month and the amount, what's going to display is something like this: the month chosen, a colon, and then the number of flu cases for that month. In step 35, it tells you you need to pull out another one of these tan handler blocks, and this is the one that says for each index. So we're going to go here. We're going to pull it, and it says number here. We are going to type in the word index because the rows of the list are the indexes of the list. In step 36, it shows us we need to get another blue block from the lists drawer and then add the variable for global entry months. And this is one of those blocks that tells us by how much. We want to count from the first entry to the entire length of the list from the global entry months list, and we want to count by ones. We don't want to skip any so that we can get a correct count of months and flu patients. So as you can see from the lists drawer, I have pulled out the length of list block, and I've grabbed the global entry months variable for it to get, and I replaced where it was the number 5 in the to section of that each index block. The next part of the code that you have to add is inside the loop, and this is where you are going to add items to the global display list. So in your list drawer, you're going to find this block and then pull this from your variables drawer, and these pink blocks are in your text drawer. If I look, it's a lot wider here. That's because I'm going to use this join block, and it's going to expand the size of this list block. Notice here, my join block, the text shows it has 3 spots for code blocks to join. And the one I pulled out only has 2. And that's where you use the little gear wheel here and bring in another one. And as you can see, I pulled out just a blank text block and put a colon in there. That's going to be used to separate what's pulled from one list next to another. Now, I need to get the select list item dot list blocks above and below the colon block and grab those variables that let me get from the different lists. Here we go. Select item from list, and I'm going to duplicate that and put it here. And again, you can see the rest of the blocks right here. So we have told this app to go to the global entry months list and to then add items to the global display list. And those items are going to be the global entry months and the global entry amounts. Which month was chosen? How many patients were counted in that month? And then don't forget, down here at the bottom, you're going to make sure that this appears. The green block is the data list view dot elements, and the global display list, the variable that we created for this procedure. Just a note, in the designer view, the list view is one of the user interface tools you can pull out for your app that lets you see items that the user chooses from the spinner. The spinner is that drop-down menu where you choose the months in the app. So the data list view is here in the components, and it is down here in the blocks. That's where you're going to get that green data list view. Once you have completed the code, it's time to test your app. When you select a month and enter a number here, then select another month. Oh, I'm sorry. Select the month, enter the number, and click the Add button. And then do it for 1 or 2 more months, again, entering numbers each time, pressing the Add button each time. Then when you click the Show Data button, what you should see is a total of all the numbers entered, an average of the number of patients entered per month, and you should see down here a list of the month and how many patients were entered for each of those months, and you should be able to scroll through those. If you test your app and that doesn't work, go back and debug and find the error in your code. This will be the first checkpoint for this lesson in the gradebook when you can show me this on one of our class phones. Good luck.